Well, back with us to take us through the newspapers this morning, Dr Kishan Rees and the Daily Telegraph's Brexit editor, Dia Chakravarti. Welcome back to both of you. Starting with you first, Kishan, this piece in the Express, the headline, "The NHS needs a doctor." What's that about?
So Richard and Judy in their column has written a pretty scathing piece in terms of saying that the fault for the state that the NHS is in lies with successive governments and hospital administrators. And I think both sides, left and right, are equally to blame for this. And they've kind of passed this baton of destruction along between them. And it touches on the things that we were talking about previously in terms of making sure that we're not blaming patients for, seeking help. Because ultimately we all pay for this. We pay into it and it protects us all. And we need to be careful for not victimising patients and kind of blaming them for what has been this crisis in terms of an ageing population has been forecast and people haven't really acted in terms of preventing it.
Kishan, tell us about the Homeland actor who's been talking about is it a mental breakdown?
Yeah, so he's been talking quite openly about when he was an actor in his 20s. He received a fairly critical review, and he's also talking about some of the challenges that he was facing, not just being a young actor, but being a young black actor as well. To coincide with World Mental Health Day, came out and talked about it and said that how he was stronger and he derived enormous strength from this breakdown and recovering. And I think if any celebrities can talk about mental health and raise awareness of it, it's really, really important. Because if somebody was in hospital having an asthma attack, you'd never say, pull yourself together and breathe properly. Whereas if somebody's depressed, it's almost acceptable, and it shouldn't be, but people say, pull yourself together. And I think
much less so now. Though.
Yeah,
I think
it's getting better.
Has increased.
It is getting better,
hugely.
but it's still, if you look at the funding cuts in terms of mental health, and there was a report quoted where in terms of the number of new staff last year came out, said there was 30,000 new mental health trained staff. They actually corrected the record, and Hansard, it was actually 630 odd. So it's an area that does need resource, and we need to be mindful of it.
Back up the talk with money and stuff.
And action, yeah, absolutely.
Right, we have to take a short break, but we're going to be back in just a few moments with Kishan and Dia. Stay with us.
Back with us to take us through the last couple of papers, Dr Kishan Rees and Dia Chakravarti. We're going to have a look at this story. In the Mirror, Kishan, are all your dreams coming true? Is a certain character returning?
Well, he is and he isn't. So, I mean, if one positive can come out of the shambles that it appears to be how Brexit is being negotiated, is this tuck into this, where Armando Iannucci is saying that he's going to bring back Malcom Tucker and Alan Partridge for a really good cause in a special in the Big Issue. So I bet he's kind of really pleased by all the material that is coming out, because I think it will be hilarious, and we need to start a campaign to bring them back. We need them back on our screens.
I know. I'm a huge fan of both The Thick of It and Alan Partridge. So when Armando Iannucci tweeted, good news for fans of these two things, I think everyone on Twitter who was a fan immediately was like, oh, wow, he's going to bring back both in a TV special. Not quite that, but as you say, really good cause to write this piece in the Big Issue, and it will be hilarious.
The problem is that reality is probably more comical than anything he might dream to write about.
Quite possibly. You couldn't make it up, could you?
Kishan, Dia, lovely to see you this morning.
Thanks
for coming to look at the papers with us.